Hello everyone. Today I'll show you how to create a Linux Mint virtual machine using VMware Workstation Player. So the first thing you want to do is to install Linux Mint. You go to a browser, search for Linux Mint, and then click on that. Then you want to go to download, and we are going to install Linux Mint 20. I am going to use Synonym, and you can use any of the editions you want. So we're installing the 64-bit of Linux Mint Synonym. And to install, you just have to click any of these link. I am going to use the University of Waterloo Computer Science Club. Just click on that, and then it should start downloading. It will take a few hours to complete. So while we wait for it to download, we can set up our virtual machine. To do so, open up VMware Workstation Player, double click it, and then we want to create a new virtual machine. You can select this, create a new virtual machine, or you go to Player, File, New Virtual Machine. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Since we are still installing the file, you can choose I will install the operating system later. If you already have this image, you can select this and then browse to the file. But since we haven't finished installing that, I'm just gonna take this option and put it in later. So you can select next. We are installing Linux, and the version is Linux Mint. But Linux Mint is not one of the choices here, so we will just use Ubuntu 64-bit. Alright, next. Now you can give the virtual machine a name. I will say something like Mint 64, I don't know, 64-bit. Now you can select change the location if you want. So this is where the virtual machine will store all its files. You can change its location, create a new folder if it's not to your liking. But usually I just leave it the way that it is. So once you're happy with that, you can click next. Now you have to specify a disk size. I generally go for the recommended because if you go up to above or below by accident, it may cause issues for the machine and also your main desktop as well. So generally, I say just follow the recommended. It also gives you an option to store or split the files. When you split the files, as it says down here, it makes it easier to move. But it may reduce performance if it's really large. Generally, I find that it doesn't really matter unless you are going to be heavily using this virtual machine. Either split or store works. So I'm just gonna go with split right now, and then go click next. So now it gives you a summary before I finish creating the machine. You can review it to make sure everything is good. But you also can go and check it, change things later on if you realize that you need some things added or removed or any changes. You can do that later on as well. So we can go ahead and click finish. Awesome. So now you can see on the left hand side, you can see the virtual machine that you just created. Before we play the virtual machine, you have to add the Linux Mint into it. So my Linux Mint installation has finished, and I am just going to open up File Explorer, my downloads. There it is. So I'm going to edit virtual machine settings. Here is all the settings for your virtual machine. Most important ones would be memory and processors. So for memory, you can see that there are ranges here. Try not to go above or below these ranges, because if you go above, it may cause issues for your main desktop. If you go below, your virtual machine might not work. I generally stay at the recommended memory, but if I need a little bit more power, I might move it up to a little bit more, but I generally would not go past the maximum recommended memory. I'm going to leave that here right now. Processors, generally, you're probably good with just 2 or 4, really up to your choice, but I think 2 is generally good for most use. Alright, so the next part is to put Linux Mint into this. You will select CD/DVD, and then you select Use iOS Image File. Then you will browse to that installation, which I have in my download. It's mine, and then just click Open. Alright, and then we are done. Now you can just click OK. Now you are ready to open up Linux Mint and install it on the virtual machine. So we are going to play virtual machine. You can do this by pressing this button here or double clicking the name. It doesn't really matter. So you will click enter, start Linux Mint. Awesome. So now start it up. What you want to do now is click on this little disk icon that says install Linux Mint. Double click that. Okay, and then you can click continue. You can choose the language of your choice. I am going to pick English. You can install these multimedia codecs, but I'm not going to. But you could if you want. You just have to select it. But I'm just gonna continue on. Because this is a virtual machine, whatever you do within this virtual machine will have no impact on your actual desktop. There are some exceptions, but most of the time, whatever you do on your virtual machine is completely separate from your desktop. So you can go ahead and choose this option, erase this and install Linux Mint. Install now. And then continue. Just select the time zone that you are in. It says I'm in Edmonton. So continue. Now you want to give yourself the name. So I'm just gonna say test password. You want to have a strong password, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna do whatever. Alright, and then you can just continue. And now it will be installing. It will take a while, so be patient. And then there's also some slideshows about Linux Mint that you can go through as it installs if you are bored. Yeah, get a cup of coffee or something, come back once it's finished. So my installation has finished. I'm going to restart. Generally, if you find that if you restart within the VMware workstation, is not really working well, I would restart the entire application. I just find that there's some issues sometimes when I restart within the player. So if you're having that problem, just close the entire thing and restart the application. I'm going to click restart now. Okay, I'm gonna press enter. Now you should see your home screen and enter the password that you typed in during installation. Awesome. So you should now see this home page. Click that. So you may see that you have this problem. When you maximize the VMware window, Linux Mint does not auto-size to fit this. So to fix this, open up terminal and run sudo pt-get update. Put the password, install the update. Alright, next you want to do sudo apt-get install open vm tools desktop. Alright, then you can press enter. Yes. Now, when you maximize the window, you should see that it auto size to fit the screen. Alright guys, so this is the end of the tutorial. Hopefully you found this helpful. Let me know down in the comments. And see you guys later.